Hey guys! So, back to our story. Part 3. Hopefully we'll be done soon. We've just been introduced to a couple of new characters. We have Agnes, who is the little girl from upstairs. She's the same age as Eleanor, maybe a year older. And then we have Natalie, who is maybe possibly going to start babysitting Eleanor. What are some things we know about Agnes? Agnes, she's a really good singer, but she's kind of snotty, right? Her and Eleanor don't get along quite yet. And then we have Natalie, who's really good at games. She came over to the house and they played some games together. So far she seems kind of nice. We don't know a whole lot about her yet, except she's not Phoebe. Alright, let's keep reading. Chapter 14. I decided to sit outside the very next day and wait for my letter from Phoebe. Today? My mom asked. Today, I answered. But you just sent your letter to Phoebe, my mom said. The mail takes time. It's much too soon to get Phoebe's letter back. I know, I said, but I thought maybe it will come. Maybe. So I said, I want to wait anyway. Natalie will be here soon, my mom said. Maybe she will wait with you. As soon as Natalie walked in, I said, I want to sit outside and wait for a letter from Phoebe. My parents must have told Natalie about Phoebe because she didn't ask any questions. She just said, oh, that sounds nice. Together we went outside and sat on a bench across the street from my building and waited for Phoebe's letter. You look to the left, I said, and I'll look to the right. So Natalie looked to the left and I looked to the right, and we watched carefully for the mail. We saw lots of things. I saw a baby in a stroller crying and crying and crying all the way down the block while its mother said, shh, 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 shh. I figured that baby was tired. Natalie saw a plastic grocery bag hanging from the branch of a tree swaying. Like a magnolia, she said. A plastic grocery bag magnolia. I saw Agnes and her brother walking toward the park. I waved at Agnes and she waved back at me. That's Agnes from upstairs, I told Natalie. You should hear her sing. Together we counted 3, then 4, then 5 joggers rushing by, their faces drip, drip, dripping from the heat. And then we saw the ice cream truck turning the corner, playing its tune. We hopped up and ran after it and bought soft ice cream cones dipped in chocolate. We ate those cones up fast before they melted. And when we got back to our bench, there she was. The mail carrier lady, wheeling her big bag of mail up the path to our building. Wait, we yelled, wait! Chapter 15. The mail carrier lady waited while we looked both ways and crossed the street and ran to her. Do you have Phoebe's letter? I asked. A letter from Phoebe Bushling. Weird name. I might, she said. She looked serious. To whom is this letter addressed? She asked. To me, I said. Eleanor Abigail Kane. Well, it's nice to meet you, Eleanor Abigail Kane, the mail carrier lady said. I'm Val. I smiled at Val. Do you know your apartment number? She asked. I needed to find the letter. It's 2C, I said. One moment, please, Val said. Then she dug through her bag until she found a stack of mail labeled 2C. She took off the rubber bands and the 3 of us looked at every letter in the stack. But there was no letter from Phoebe. I'm sorry about that, Val said. I'll keep a special lookout for it from now on. I promise. I knew it was too early for Phoebe's letter, but still, I wanted my letter from Phoebe. Then Natalie said, well, maybe it's time to play Mancala. So we went upstairs and played Mancala. I think Natalie might have practiced at home because she did a little bit better. But I still won. Chapter 16. The next morning I tried calling my best friend Pearl, but she was still away. Everyone in the world was still away, except for me. So I got grumpy. When Natalie came, I said, I already hate this day. Oh dear, she said. But look what I brought. She held up a bag and opened it. And showed me lemons and sugar and a big plastic pitcher. If we're going to hate this day, she said, then at least let's not get thirsty. So we squeezed lemons and scooped sugar and added water and stirred, and made a big plastic pitcher of lemonade. We made a big sign too. We took our pitcher and our sign and set up a lemonade stand right next to the bench where we waited for Val. We poured cups of lemonade for ourselves so at least we wouldn't get thirsty. Then we sold the rest for a nickel. We decided on a nickel because nickel rhymes with pickle. The joggers jogged right by us, but Agnes and her brother each bought a cup, and one thirsty lady bought two. That lady drank both of those cups of lemonade right then and there, all by herself. While we were waiting for more customers, I asked Natalie, "Do you remember 3rd grade?" "Well, a little," she said. "What's it like?" I asked. She thought for a second. "My teacher was named Mrs. Mosley," she said. "She didn't like my handwriting. She thought it was too messy." "Oh," I said. "I thought about my handwriting. It was pretty messy, too." "And I think we wrote reports in 3rd grade," Natalie said, "about famous people. I remember writing one on Neil Armstrong." "Who's that?" I asked. "The first person to walk on the moon," Natalie said. I tried to think of someone famous to write about, but before I could, we saw Val. She was wheeling her bag up the path to our building. "Val!" we called, waving. "Val!" Val waved back and then turned and wheeled her big bag right across the street and over to our stand. "What a nice way to spend the day," she said. "Can we check for Beebe's letter?" I asked. "Just in case." "Well, sure," Val said, "but I didn't see it earlier." Then she dug through her bag and we looked at every 2C letter, but again, no letter from Beebe. I started to get grumpy. Then Natalie said, "Let's get Val some lemonade." And I poured a cup for Val. She tried to give us a nickel, but Natalie said, "This lemonade is free for Val." "Let's add that to our sign," I said. So on our sign, under lemonade, 1 nickel, I wrote in big letters, "Free for Val." Val laughed and thanked us and wheeled her big bag back across the street to deliver the rest of the mail. Chapter 17. My mom had to work late the next day. My dad did too. So Natalie stayed late, and that was bad. It was bad because Natalie ran my bath and checked the water and checked it again to make sure it wasn't too hot, just like Beebe, when Beebe stayed late. And before I got in the tub, Natalie turned back my covers so my bed was all ready for nighttime, just like Beebe when Beebe stayed late. And I could just tell that after my bath, Natalie planned to read to me and tuck me in and kiss me goodnight and wish me sweet dreams and turn down the lights and tiptoe down the hall, just like Beebe when Beebe stayed late. But Natalie was not Beebe, and I wanted Beebe. So when Natalie said, "Your bath is ready," I said, "I don't need a bath. I'm very clean already." Natalie looked surprised. She thought for a minute and said, "At least wash your face and hands." "Fine," I said. I washed my face and hands and went in my room. Then Natalie pulled open my pajama drawer and said, "Would you like to pick out some pajamas?" "No," I said. "I'm not sleeping in pajamas tonight." Then I slammed that drawer shut. I had to sleep in something, so I opened my shirt drawer and pulled out the very top shirt and put it on and turned to Natalie and said, "Good night." "Goodness," Natalie said. She pointed to the pajama drawer. "We don't slam drawers," she said. "Please try again, more gently." "Fine," I said. I tried again. "Are you sure you'll be comfortable in that shirt?" she asked. "I'm sure," I said. "I could read you a bedtime story," she said. "I'll read to myself," I said. I got a book, the first book I saw, and climbed with it into my bed. It was a very big book. I opened it and started to read. That very big book had very long words that I didn't understand. But I kept pretending to read. "Well then," Natalie said, "good night." She dimmed the lights and closed the door and went off down the hall. I waited for a minute. Then I dropped the book on the floor and put my face in my pillow. I closed my eyes and decided to move to Florida. Chapter 18. The next morning, Natalie pretended that last night wasn't bad. She came in and slipped off her shoes and put down her bag and smiled at me like she always did. And then she said, "Good morning." "Good morning," I said back. I hope she really wasn't mad about that drawer and that bath. I couldn't tell if she was, and I didn't want to ask. Then I had an idea. "I'll brush your hair for you," I said. Sometimes I brush my mom's hair, and my best friend Pearl's hair too. They like it. "Okay," Natalie said. I ran to my room and got my brush, which is blue, my favorite color. I brought it back to Natalie, who sat on a chair and took out her ponytail and let her hair touch her shoulders. "Don't worry," I said. "I'll brush very gently." Then I brushed her hair very gently, the way my dad brushes mine sometimes before he goes to work. When I had brushed it all, I said, "What's your favorite color?" And she said, "Green." So I ran back to my room and I got all of the green barrettes I could find. All 3. Then I made little braids in her hair and clipped green barrettes at the bottom. 1 braid behind each ear and 1 down the middle in the back. "You look beautiful," I said. She did. She looked beautiful. I let her keep those green barrettes, and she wore them on those braids, 1 behind each ear and 1 down the middle in her back, the whole rest of the day. Chapter 19. When the phone rang that night, I figured it was probably a work call for my mom, but she brought me the phone. "It's for you," she said. I held the phone to my ear. "Hello?" I said. "Eleanor, it's Pearl!" my best friend shouted. "Pearl!" I shouted back. "Are you home yet?" "I wish I was," she said, "but I'm still in Oregon. It rains here all the time." Then she said, "My face is raining too, with tears, because I'm missing you." Pearl talks in poems sometimes. She's going to be a famous poet someday. I just know it. "When will you be back?" I asked. "Wednesday," she said, "in the late afternoon. Mark your calendar." "I will," I said, "as soon as I hang up. And school starts on Thursday," Pearl said. "Will you pick me up on the way?" "Of course we'll pick you up," I said. Just then I remembered that Pearl didn't know about BB. I almost didn't say anything because it felt very hard to say anything. But I took a deep breath and I said, "BB moved away." "She did?" Pearl said. "Yes," I said, "she did." "Why?" Pearl said. I told her why. "Oh, you must feel terrible," Pearl said. "Your heart must feel like a mirror that fell and shattered in a million pieces." I thought about that. "That's exactly right," I said. "Don't worry," she said. "I'll be home soon and I'll cheer you up." I heard Pearl's mother say something in the background. "I have to go," Pearl said. "Wait," I said, because I just remembered that I needed to ask her something. "Is my handwriting messy?" I asked. "What?" Pearl said. "Is my handwriting messy?" I asked again. "I don't think so," Pearl said. "I like your handwriting." Then we hung up and right away I went to mark the calendar. That's when I realized that it wasn't August anymore. It was September. All right, boys and girls, we're going to stop there. Hope you're all having a good Saturday night. Bye.